Hello guys, welcome back to another episode by Puppet Studio. This is episode 4, season 2, and today we have an awesome guest with us here. What is your name? Can you just introduce yourself to the audience?
Okay, hi guys, I'm Chris, and I am. What else do I need to know about me?
Say hi to the audience first.
Hi, I'm Chris. Yeah.
Let's start it slowly.
Alright,
let's go with the chill.
Alright, sure.
Yeah. Alright. So how have you been doing today? That's my first question. Just how have you been doing today?
To be really honest, even though today's topic is about mental health,
Yeah.
I'm actually very anxious.
Wow.
Not just today, but for the whole week. Because
Okay.
I feel like, how am I gonna talk about mental health? Because
Right.
it's very heavy and it's a very
Right.
sensitive issues to a lot of people out there. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty anxious, but also quite excited for today because this is my first podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm so glad that I brought her along. She is a how do you pronounce it? Psychologist? No.
I'm not a psychologist, but I have background in psychology and communications and also experience with working with befrienders coaching before as a brain trainer as well.
Okay, cool. So, when you were back in coaching, what were you studying?
I studied degree in psychology and communication, which is a double major, two different things.
So there's two things, yeah?
Yeah, two things. One is psychology, one is communication. But it kind of complements each other. Because like psychology, how you try to understand people's minds and behavior, and communication is like how you're gonna communicate, with this, psychological values and beliefs and stuff like this. So yeah, I studied psychology before, and then after that I worked in a professional line as a brain trainer. But yeah.
Okay. So those are your pathways when you were in uni back then.
Yes.
Right. So like you mentioned, right? You study minds, right? I bet the first questions that some of your friends think, like when they see you, they're like, oh. I bet you can read me right now. I bet I don't know if I want to talk to you right now. You can like just read me off the top from like bottom, from bottom to top and stuff like that. What was the response when someone said that to you?
I can't read people. Obviously, I'm not a psychic.
That's a myth, right?
I'm not a psychic. I can't read people,
Right.
I can observe. Usually psychology, we don't read people. We observe people from their body language, the way they talk, the way they present themselves. All this, before we dive deep into the emotional parts and the mental parts, we basically look at the outer appearance.
Right.
Not like how you look or it's just how you present yourself. That's basically first impression. First impression is very important. So that's how we observe people. They'll be like, oh, okay, this person is like this person is like that. But it's just mainly on the surface. It's not that we go down deep, oh, this person probably is like,
Like, I mean, if it is your job, right, you would do that, right? I mean, when it comes to just ordinary day-to-day, like your day-to-day basis, when you go to a coffee shop with friends or you meet someone new, you guys will use it a little bit, right? You guys will be like, oh, okay. I understand this person's personality as soon as I get to talk to them more. Am I right?
Exactly, yes.
But you won't read it off like, oh, I know this person's like this. I know this. No. So it goes to having a deep conversation or having a talk-to-talk moment. Right, that's really interesting. Other than that, what other subject do your uni provide when it comes to learning this major in psychology?
Actually, it's quite wide. It's not just specific on mental health or anything.
Right.
We study about developmental.
Oh, I thought it's just mental health. Okay, go on.
Developmentals, like from childhood, grow up, and then what are the psychological factors that influence this child, for example, their growth, stuff like this. We also study about personality disorders. We study about depression, anxieties, and we do a lot of case studies as well. Like how we can.
What are those?
Like for example, if we study about criminals, we study the psychological behind why this person behaved this way, why did they commit crime. So we study the psychological factors of these people, stuff like this.
Nice.
One of my subjects, we call it as forensic psychology. One of my favorite subjects.
Gosh, I'm learning so much today, guys. That's great. For me, when someone talks to me about studying psychology, whatever, the first thing in my mind is you guys are good at reading minds, or you guys are you can what was the word? I'm always losing words. But you can always know that what's someone's mind, That's just little perspective we have because what we watch on TVs are what we assume. Like we have these assumptions of people who can actually do psychology. So we're like just we just feel like, oh, this because the movie tells us so. This because the movie tells us so. So it's great to know that there's more to this than what we watch on the movies. It's good to know, right? Okay, since we're already talking about mental health itself, thank you for breaking it down for us a little bit. So yeah, today's topic, as Paul has mentioned, or Chris has mentioned, it's called anxiety, right? Anxiety is a broad thing to talk about, right? But we're just gonna break it down for you guys. We're not gonna go too serious to the point where
maybe just like generalize.
Let's give you guys a general thought.
Anxiety.
Yeah. Correct. So when it comes to anxiety, right? You mentioned it yourself today. You were feeling anxious because you were nervous, right? You were feeling like, gosh, I'm not prepared. I haven't done this for a really long time, And then especially anxiety, it's not just this itself, but it could be for like students who are doing their exams, or someone who just finished first graduate, or they're wanting to get a job and do interviews. They get so anxious. It could be anything. It could even be dogs chasing you at a park. You feel anxious. I need to get home.
Everyone experiences anxiety in their life. Like it's just a matter of the severity, or like how depends on how severe.
Yeah, what's the level, right?
The level, yes, exactly.
Yeah. So a lot of people, little do you know, they go through anxiety. It's not just like people you think that people who goes to studies or whatever. Actually, everybody in your home maybe.
Even right now. So I believe that since we are in the pandemic, in the COVID-19, everyone experiences anxiety. You go out of the house, you get anxious. For example, like you get paranoid, like, oh, this person is not wearing a mask, or like, oh, did I bring my sanitizer today? Did I sanitize my hands? So you tend to get fear of this kind of things. So you start to overthinking stuff like, oh, I'm scared that I'm gonna get infected by COVID. So these kind of things is also create a little anxiety in you. It not just have to be like big things, like, oh, I've gone through a breakup. So I mean that is like another level. So anxiety is not just focused on just the big part of your life. It's also the little things. Yeah.
I understand. That's so true. Right. So like you mentioned just now, anxiety could be in so many other places. Like you said, we're talking about the COVID-19, right? People could be so anxious about the little things, right? Washing hands, wearing a mask, or even like, just the basic things. I don't want to be close to people because you might not know who has COVID-19, right? So what I want to ask you next is, what do you think people are going through in their mind when they are being anxious, or when they're being nervous?
Okay, anxiety is the fear of the future, of the uncertainties.
Right.
Because you worried so much, you have all these excessive fears about what ifs.
Right.
What if I'm gonna fail? What if I'm not good enough?
Right.
What if people can judge me?
Right.
How will people perceive me? So basically, anxiety is all these worries about the uncertainties. You have the fear of these uncertainties, excessive worries that you start to overthinking stuff that is not even happening yet.
Yeah.
Compared to depression is mostly thinking about the past.
Okay.
You're ruminating on the past, so that's why you get depression. You're
like
thinking about the regrets. You start to flashback on your past memories, your traumas, and stuff like that. So the difference between depression and anxiety is that depression is you're living in the past. Your mind is still wandering in the past. But anxiety, you are living in the future. You're stuck thinking about future, what ifs. Right? So this is anxiety. So that's why you start to get worries on a lot of things. Yeah.
So good. I like it how you talk about depression is something that is back in the past, something that you bring back now, and anxiety is more to the things that's not happening yet, but you're actually feeling it in your bodies. And sometimes when we talk about anxiety as well, people might think anxiety is just like living, the feeling of like, just that. But actually, anxiety is you and your body, reacting to stress.
Actually, that is also anxiety. When you are young, like when you start to have rapid breathing, this is the physical symptoms of anxiety. So when you already have anxiety here, you will start to project through physical. So when your mind starts to get overstimulated with like a lot of emotion problems, like your problems, your issue, your mental issues, and then your emotional issues, it gets overstimulating, and then you start to project it physically. So you start to get shaky, you start to trembling, you start to have rapid breathing, and you start to experience even panic attack. So basically, this is body telling you, the body telling you that you are experiencing anxiety. Yeah. Some people that doesn't know that. They feel like, why was it feeling so anxious? Why I feel so like I have like heartbeat.
Right.
So
would you call that an anxiety disorder? Or is that another term? Is that like, or just a normal anxiety? What do you
There's two. There's anxiety disorder. There's also panic disorder. So, but then anxiety, there are like broad, like basic branches. There's like 5 mains, which is the general anxiety disorder, social anxiety disorder, OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, phobias, and also panic disorders. And other there's like some like separation anxieties. Especially separation is most of among children like they have separation anxieties with their parents and stuff like that. So this is also considered anxiety. The general one is most people experience like all the little things like of fear going out of the house because they scared they might got infected, or like you worry about school, about exams, about your work life. So these are the general ones. So like most specific ones like the phobias, you have fear of heights, for example. Like you have to use aeroplane, but you have fear of heights, but you have no choice, so you have to use. So this kind of also creates anxiety.
Yeah, because I think I would say I would get anxious when it comes to roller coaster rides.
Yeah, you have fear of heights, right?
I got a little bit fear of heights. Yes, I might admit it. So yeah, what you said, I think my body would have this response. I just wanna I wanna panic. I wanna I wanna scream.
This response is called fight or flight. Yeah, it's called acute stress disorder. So it means that when you are experiencing danger or you're experiencing like a certain distress, your body is preparing yourself on how to cope with that stress. So we call it fight or flight response. So it's either you fight or you flee from a vicious flight. So for example, if you are in let's say like you're jogging in the park and there's a dog barking at you, rolling at you, do you run or you bark back at the dog, right? So
which is rare.
Yeah, so this is the response that your body are trying to send you signals. So they're gonna fight or you're gonna flight.
So it's actually your body is actually helping you
yes,
in a sense.
In a sense.
Like, hey, beware, this is happening.
Yeah.
You know?
So basically your body is responding to the danger itself, to the pressure, the stress itself.
Okay, that's really interesting. I've been wondering what is all this feeling. Because a lot of people struggle with expressing themselves when it comes to anxiety, right? Because they don't know what they're feeling, right? And then they will go to their parents, they will go to their friends, but tak semestinya kawan or parents know what to do or respond back. So my next question here is, what do you think is the best, maybe advice or words to comfort a person who's having anxiety?
Sometimes people who experience anxiety, they don't know they have anxiety.
Correct. Okay.
Maybe because they feel that maybe I'm just overthinking stuff. Maybe I'm just having like some cardiovascular issues. I have heart problem,
Yeah.
But they don't know it's anxiety. So if let's say your anxiety persists and it affects you physically, it's best to seek professional help. Especially when it persists between 2 weeks or more than 2 weeks, you feel that the symptoms is like getting worse and worse. So it's best for you to seek medical help. So professional help, for example, go for like counseling or you go and see psychologists. But if let's say for example your anxiety has been persist for too long and you're not ready to see a mental health professional yet.
Right.
So if let's say you're in a place where you experience panic attack, you can help yourself by meditating. Or like some people for me, if I get very anxious or what, I play music, like I listen to music, I play guitar, so just to calm myself and just to be in the moment. Right? I don't want to think about anything, I just want to enjoy my time. Some people they read books. Some people they go to the gym, like they go for CrossFit, but if let's say panic attack, which is more severe, there are some helps ways to calm down your panic attack. So one I want to teach a lot of people out there who experience anxiety attack or panic attack, because it's a when it happens it's suddenly, it's not like I know that I'm suddenly gonna have it. It will just happen like out of the blue. So what you can do is that you find something, get back to your senses, all these 5 senses, what you can see, what you can hear, what you can smell, what you can feel, and what you can taste. So basically, for example, if you got panic attack, maybe you grab a pillow, feel the texture, try to get back to your senses, feel the texture, maybe you pasang lampu and try to just immerse in the music. Try to get back all your senses, because when people they're experiencing panic attack, they start to get detached from reality. They start to like shaking and they feel like I feel like I'm dying. So they already feel detached from reality. So we want to get back from reality. So we try to get So basically it's also called grounding techniques. So and then another step is you do butterfly tapping. So if you're alone, right?
I've seen this in the movies.
Okay, so actually it shows it's okay to not be
Yeah,
okay.
that's the one.
Butterfly tapping. So if let's say you have a panic attack and you got something, you just shiver at yourself. Just tap yourself. Just hug yourself. If
So it's actually giving yourself a warm hug.
Yes. If there's no one like with you at that time, so you just butterfly tapping. You just hug yourself. But if there's people around you and you really feel that you could not, just
you can't even move.
Yeah, can't even move, right?
Yeah.
For you as a friend, if you see someone like having this, do you mind if I hug you?
Right.
They say yes, okay, just hug them, so that they can feel that they are in the moment, like someone is there for me,
Right.
And so this is one of the few techniques that you can learn from people who experience panic attack and also anxiety.
Like you mentioned, there were these 3 techniques. Am I right?
3 techniques. The grounding techniques, which we have to feel back your senses. And then the butterfly tapping. Then another one is the most easiest and not easiest lah, but it's helpful is the breathing technique, which is you breathe in for 4 seconds, so through your nose, so like, and then you hold for 4 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you breathe out through your mouth for 4 seconds. So you keep on repeat that until you feel you're more calm. Then okay, that's when you know that I feel okay now.
I do experience this incident with a friend before, and I didn't know how to help. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. So little things like this is actually very helpful. These 3 techniques, I can actually help a friend. And sometimes when I was in that moment, I remember a friend trying to comfort her, saying that, hey, remember to inhale, because I believe when you're having this anxiety, or the person that's having this anxiety this time, they forgot to breathe. They forgot to
because they are too overstimulating. Their brain is just like when you have brain freeze, you just like stand for a moment. So people who have anxiety, they are like that. They're like they couldn't think because they're just dealing with all this.
Are they frozen in a way, or is the world frozen in a way when they're looking out? What are they?
Especially people with panic attack. Anxiety is much more mild. Panic attack is more severe to the extent that sometimes when people are very out of the blue, they just suddenly got shaky. They just got like breathing and they couldn't think anything. They just I'm scared I'm gonna die. That's in their head. Maybe I feel like I'm dying. So they have this detached from reality. We call it I forgot the term. It's like you're detached from your reality. So if, like I said, if you're alone, you can try the butterfly tapping. You can try the grounding technique, because you get back all your senses and be present. But if let's say for those who have anxiety, which is much more mild, some people they just cry and then they just like suddenly get shaky. You can just, as a friend. What was your question?
My question is how do I approach this person and not to offend them?
Okay. Some people, right, when they get anxious, right, sometimes it gets suffocating if a lot of people around them. So it's best to give them space, bring them to a safer space, and then like just like tap them and say, it's fine. Breathe, help them to breathe. So basically, breathe in. So basically, you help them to breathe, and also you need a hug. Do you want me to help you with anything? They say yes, I need a hug. Just hug them. Anything. Just try to be present, be there, and add to their help. What can I help you? What you need to do?
That's interesting. There were a few things that I found in the web, and as well as people are telling me around the places. So there are questions like people are saying, you can't say this to people who's having anxiety. A few of them were like, calm down. It's not a big deal. Don't worry about it, right? I know how you're feeling, right? Stop worrying, stuff like that. And last but not least, get over it. I feel like that's really harsh for some, because some people don't experience it. Some people might not go through it. But what are the advice to tell these people who don't understand people with anxieties?
I really love, how like people always
assumptions
assume that
they're alright.
Okay, I give you analogy to make it better understanding. Analogy. logic. Here, for example, you are trying to cross the road and you see a blind man, and then the blind man asks you, "Excuse me, can you help me cross the road?"
Right.
Do you say to the blind man, "Just open your eyes and cross the road"?
You're so right. You're so right.
It's like it's the same thing as saying to your friend, "Just be positive and get over it."
Yeah.
So what happens if you tell to your friend, "Get over it," and then this blind person just get hit by a car because it's like, "Oh, open my eyes and just cross the road."
Right.
This person couldn't even see. Right. So basically, people who are experiencing mental health or any anxieties or depression issues, they couldn't think of lights because they are in darkness.
Right.
They're in darkness. They couldn't see light at the end of the tunnel. So they need someone to guide them, who can see the light, to guide them to go back to the place where you can finally see light again, see hope, for example. So basically, telling your friend to get over it, to stay positive, to stay calm, it's like telling a blind man, just open your eyes and cross the road. Exactly.
Wow.
So what you can do as a friend is just to be there for them, help them and guide them. Basically, people just need someone to guide them to go back to the right, roads or hopes, to find hope again, stuff like this. So just be kind, just be kind, just be more kind, just be a good listener, even if you don't feel that you have good advice or anything. Just be there for your friends, just be an active listener. So like, okay, what can I help you? Why do you feel sad? Why do you feel like this? You can always talk to me. Even if I couldn't give you advice, but the least I can do is just listen to you. I have friends, my experience, because I've been volunteering for befrienders before, and I have friends who once in a while they will call me out of the blue, and it's like, Chris, I need to talk to you or something.
Right.
I remember this one time my friend called me at like 4 a.m. in the morning. I'm like, why do people call me early? So usually it's emergency last time. My friend was just crying and crying. What's up? But my friend didn't say anything. He was just crying and sobbing on the phone. So I said, it's okay, take your time. You just express, just release whatever you need to.
Right.
So I've been listening to him crying for a good 30 minutes.
Wow.
So I didn't say anything. I just listened to him on the phone. Said, okay, take your time. I'm just gonna be on the line. So if you feel ready to talk, you just talk. After he done, you feel like maybe he's okay already. Then he was like, okay, I feel I'm okay now. If you need anything, just don't do anything to hurt yourself. Sometimes your friend don't need any advice or anything. They just want you to be there.
They need someone to listen.
Yeah, exactly.
So wow, that's really helpful. Especially when you talk about a friend needing a person, or try not to be so harsh on them. Even though if you're going through a lot, you don't feel like you have the right place to talk to them. Maybe just listen. Like what you said, listen or just be there for them. It doesn't have. You don't need much. All they need is just you there in that moment, being aware that okay, my friend's here for me. I'm not alone in this.
Exactly. And not just listen. Be an active listener. What I mean as active listener is not just listen and
but actually collect what they say.
Active listening, basically your body language shows that you're interested in the conversation, your eye contact, and ask questions like, okay, why do you feel this way? What happened? Stuff like this. So this stuff like will help, even though they don't say much, but just shows that you are interested or like you actually care about them. It's really good enough. Be there for your friends.
Right. Wow, it's so helpful.
Yeah.
Alright, up next we have another special guest. Not so special. She's been here. We have Catherine. Alright, Catherine, what would you like to share with us today?
Okay, I'm very interested with the information that you shared, right? In terms of those panic attacks and mild anxiety. So I want to share something to you. So I want to see like how do you observe and evaluate this situation. So based on my experience myself, which I encountered this anxiety or panic attack. So I couldn't like identify which one is it. So I've experienced it for about 2 years. Okay. So every night, right, I couldn't really I couldn't sleep. So I will have like hard to breathing. Yeah. So and then I will need to do like a baby crawling myself, like in order for me to sleep. Like I have to turn myself and then to get those air. So I don't know. Sometimes I didn't even think of things. So I don't know what's happened, but I do have this experience every night. So I felt like I maybe have heart problem. So I might thinking like I want to do for checking and all these things, and do I need this and that. So it wasn't like, to me I thought it's not really a serious issues, because I was like, I don't think that I do have anxiety.
Because you feel that you don't think of anything serious. You thought it was just me.
Yeah. Little did I know, right? I realized that I have those like, how to say, I am very like, I want things to be done correctly. You know, I always think ahead, like what should I do, especially towards my family. You know, what should
your worries?
My worries is like, for the futures. You know, then when at this time it was 2 years ago, 2018, right? There was like, I got it 2016, so along the way I didn't know that it was anxiety or panic. Then 2018 I went to this community. So I got a chance, like I never shared anything to them before. So it was like a church event, and then I joined this church alpha. So we were like divided into groups, and then at first when I joined them, right, it was just like, you know, just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna join you guys, like I just make friends, you know, So whenever they shared something, right, I never like talk anything about myself. But when it happens that time, right, they were like praying for anything that you wish, Then
prayer request.
Your prayer request. Then I was like sitting there, I'm just like sharing, could you pray for my health, you know, I couldn't, so I'm sharing that I have these difficulties in breathing, and then then suddenly like this girl approached me. She was saying to me, then they all like, feel like people like saying, oh, I think you need to make a checking, you know, like to do checking and all. So they thought I might, see a doctor, and so they thought I might have something with my heart problem. So then suddenly there's this one of our group leader. She approached me. She asked me, I think, can I know you more? You know, she's trying to like really showing those empathy, like concern towards me, and then asked me like, can I know what is your background and all this, right? Then I just like, why? And then she said, I don't think it is anything relates to your heart, but it kind of like something
more psychological.
And then it's more like anxiety. Then I thought it was like, do I have anxiety? You know, in my house, like saying like, is it anxiety? I don't think so, because then the moment that I shared, right, but before I even shared my story, right, she told me about things that happened to her. So she's experiencing the same thing. So I'm very glad that someone who had been in that position, could like help me out. So I realized that only those that have this kind of experience could be able to like really understand. So when I was like, I shared everything, right, I feel like so much release, because I'm very private person.
I never reserved. You want to share your problems.
Agree. That's so true. And then even though like I'm very happy at the outside, but it's so hard for me to like share what I experienced inside. So the moment I shared to her, right, and then she prayed for me. She's like really direct to that prayer. Like when you pray, you have to point to that things that
is bothering you.
So that you know, so that how to say, so that prayer like really
touch your heart.
So she was praying direct to the anxiety, right? And then I cried. I don't know why I cried, but it happens. And then after that prayer, right, I went home, right? Oh my God.
Do you feel much better after that?
So much better.
So
and I'm so grateful. I thank God for that. And then until that day onwards, to this day, I never experienced any of those. So it has been like 2 years now. So I think, my question is like, how do you identify whether my situation is a mild or a panic?
I have a question to you before before I answer that, do you experience what is it that happening that period of time that makes you so worried? Do you experience like transitioning in life? Do you like you just finish graduate studies and then you
was there a big transition? Was there a big leap for you that causes you to have?
Yeah.
What's happening in your life that time?
Okay.
Did you finish studies or you just started working or what?
During that time, it was like I graduated and then I started working.
Okay.
So and then in that time there is like family problem.
Okay.
So in between, so I think so much happening in that time. So I just couldn't like really share everything out in that time. And even if I don't feel like I want to share it. Yeah. I don't have the trust on I can trust these people, even though they are my mentor, I just feel like maybe I'm ego. Yeah, I'll say I'm very ego, like I can handle everything. Yeah. They just me like I feel like I can do this my way. So then and then there's this word came to me like, do not worry about tomorrow, for I have taken care of everything for you. This is in the Bible itself. And then God said, I will protect your future and all right. And then these words, we have heard it many times, but we don't really like apply it to our daily life. So then these words like really touched me at that time. So I was like, then from that day onwards, I've been like really living in the moment. Yeah, I've never wanted to like really see what's ahead of me because I really want to believe like God is ahead of me. God is protecting my future. God is in control, and that's why I am called to be His daughter. Yeah, so it's like it has given me the affirmation that I know that
you are
God's
secure,
love.
you are safe.
Yeah, that's why I know that God really loves me. Yeah, and then at that point during that transition that I mentioned, right? I think I reached to the point that I just want to let go of my life because you do have the thoughts of like it's gonna hurt. I mean like I don't want to do any harm things toward myself. But at the same time, this situation that give you
drive
through it.
Like yourself, you just because you're painful inside, so you want to release it physically. You want to feel the pain. Like, is this really the pain that I'm experiencing? So that's why people they tend to self-harm themselves because the pain inside they couldn't take it anymore. They want to release it physically.
Yeah.
So that's why
But
people
they do.
self-harm.
But I realized based on my experience, I realized that I do have the logic thinking
you're still reasonable. You can
still reasonable, but somehow like your action is like you can't control it, But at the point like my mom has to stop me like, hey, can you think about people around you? You have this and that. Everyone is
careful enough for yourself.
At that point, so
for me because the major triggers was you are transitioning in life. When you go through a major life event from being a student to working adult, the transition is too much. It's overwhelming because you don't know. You never been a working adult. You just started and you are prone to failure. So you always have these thoughts of like, am I gonna fail? Will I ever be good enough? Will I ever to make my family proud and stuff like this? So when that happened and you have a family problem, it just adds to your another problem. So it get overwhelming. So it's like a balloon, When you put on more pressure, when that's a trigger, will pop. So basically, you pop when you went for the conference, and then this sister was like talking to you, and then you started to cry. When you cried, that was your breaking point already. I'm popping already because I have so much pressure in me. I don't know how to release it. When I finally release it, your pressure you blew away. So it's like a balloon. You just pressure it, and then when the triggers hit you, and then you pop, and then the pressure is just released. So you actually feel like that. So I wouldn't say that your problem is mild or severe or anything. Whatever everyone experience is their experience. Your experience and my experience is not the same. So that doesn't mean that what you go through is not as severe as what I go through. Every experience is valid. So never invalidate your emotions or your problems, whatever you go through. If you have anxiety, you have anxiety. But sometimes people mistaken it for like maybe I have a cardiovascular problem. So that's why it's better to go and check out because we never know if you're experiencing anxiety, or it's really got like physical problems. So if let's say you are still doubt about like you having anxiety, you can, like people out there who are listening to this, you can do like DAS test, which is the depression, anxiety and stress scale online. It's free. So they have a set of questions for the depression, they have few questions, and then anxiety, they have few questions, and stress few questions. And then once you finish, do all the tests, and then they will have like a scale for you. Then they will indicate how high is your stress level, how high is your anxiety level and depression level.
Yeah.
So if let's say if it's very high and it's very alarming, it's better for you to go for professional help and go and check and go for like counseling and stuff like that. Yeah.
So this is a website now.
You can just Google it, like DAS test, DASS, which is the depression, anxiety and stress scale.
Okay.
Yeah. Even professional, they use this when you go into the clinic and they say, excuse me doctor, I want to do a mental health checkup. They will always give you this test first before they diagnose you with whatever symptoms that you're experiencing.
Yeah. Okay, we will definitely put that in the link below.
Yeah.
In our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Right.
I really like your answer, like towards my questions. Like it's very wise. Like you don't have to validate your emotions, what you have experienced, right? It shouldn't be like as a comparison. Like
never
this
compare.
it's like this is my this and this is what my level of this. You know, it's not something that you need to compare.
Because a lot of people will be like, you know, I feel so down today. I feel like this is like, hey, small things only, because people out there like got so many problems, and you also want to like, that's the thing. We want to break this stigma actually.
Yes.
I really want to break this stigma. A lot of people out there said, no matter how small or big is your problem, never invalidate other people's experience, because what you experience and what I experience is not the same. But like, to be really honest with you, 2 years ago I was experiencing the same thing as Kat. I was like just graduated and then I started working, and then I don't really in tune with my job. I got so stressed out, and I actually developed depression because of that as well, and I got panic attack because of that as well.
I guess it's really about we want to meet people's expectations.
Yes, true.
Especially our family.
Because we're being pressured, you know, because we already reached in this peak. Okay, I finally graduate. I finally achieve my goal. I want to achieve more.
Yeah.
But then we are not in reality. You know, when reality hits us, like that's not life.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna throw lemons at you, but then if people throw lemons at you, what you do? Lemonade. Or lemon chicken. You make the best out of it.
Yeah.
So no matter how much life throws at you, you make the best out of it.
Yeah. Wow. That's so good.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like now it's the best, like for you to take some time back off a little bit, like go slower. Don't speed up too fast.
Don't rush. Just be at your own pace. Don't be hard on yourself. Just don't be hard on yourself. That's what I learned. Because everyone has their own timing. Everyone has their own pace. Just because your friend is one ahead of you doesn't mean that you have to be at the same pace as your friend. Because you still have to look back and see your capability. Right?
Yeah. So good.
Alright.
Thank you so much for
Stories.
answering and listen to my experience. You know, at the same time, like we get this time to like really understand the topic of anxiety.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Alright. So, that was really fruitful. That was really good knowledge, and we definitely learned a lot today. Thank you so much, Chris. Other than that, I think we would just like to close it up with an advice from each one of us. Maybe we can start with Kat and end it with Chris.
Alright.
Good.
So my advice is always be an active listener. Yeah. Regardless, like you don't feel like you want to listen to someone, but at least I believe everyone have these senses of like, or where this person really needs you.
Yeah.
You know, like even though it's your family or your friends, right? Just be there, just to listen. You don't need to give any comments.
Correct.
Not everything needs comments, and not everything needs advice. Maybe just like take it slow. To those that listen to this, to those that experience anxiety, and to those that listening to it, just like take it slow, get to know this person a little bit, and then don't put her or him into a position where she needs to tell everything about herself. Yeah. And then another thing that I would like to highlight is just do things at one time. Like you don't have to rush yourself. You don't have to go hard on yourself. Because everyone has their own time. Even you know, even those like successful people, Marx, okay, I give you maybe Donald Trump or Barack Obama, you know, they became president when they are at the point of like 50 plus. So they have a different age. Age is not a matter where you identify with success.
Yeah.
Success is progress in your life.
Yep.
And what you did today is so much better than yesterday.
Agreed.
You know. So what we did today is so much better than we are 2 years ago.
Everyone is learning.
Yeah. So everyone, the learning progress is like just be grateful with everything that you have. Even though you are living in a house, just be grateful.
Yeah.
Wherever you are, you get to have food on your table, just be grateful.
Yes.
Even you're able to open your eyes, just be grateful.
Yeah.
There's so much better than those like outside, you know, like those like not really fortunate to get the life that we have. Yeah.
Wow. Alright, that's so good. Other than that, my advice for the listener out there is as well as just be there for a friend. Don't make them feel uncomfortable in any other way. Like what we learned today, use them. Don't use the wrong words like I've mentioned, like hey, don't worry lah, this is something small lah. You know, all these little things, don't let it out. Just be for them, just be there for them, listen to them. Or matter in fact, just bring them to the gym, you know, release it out. You know, do those little things in life. Sometimes it helps, you never know, right? So just don't stop trying. Love your friends, love your family. Don't be quick to judge, you know, because argument or rush can never lead to anywhere. So I believe by just being there for a friend or being there for a family means a lot to them already. So yeah, guys.
At the end of the day, we are still human beings. We are social animals. We are social beings. We need that social support.
Agree.
Yeah.
And on to that, right? And another thing is like, do not set an expectation to yourself.
Agree.
Yeah, you can have a dream, but not an expectation where you need to meet this expectation in 5 years, in 10 years. Of course, dream is dream, but sometimes along the way, there's something that God's provide for us, and it's changed the other path, the other way. So always just like live in that moment and trust the process, not to the point like I need to get this and get this, you know. It's not like what, because at the end, right, you only hurt yourself. That's why God is saying like trust in me, and I will lead you to where I know that you are supposed to be.
You stop controlling yourself. Stop controlling your life or how you want it to be. Because sometimes God is in control, and sometimes His plan is way better from what you want to do. Right? Maybe when we were a child, we have a bigger dream. Like we want to be this, we want to be that, but it changes along the way. We grow on how the community is, or how the environment is. We can't be expecting to get this. Because if you do, you're just gonna crumble. You're just gonna crush yourself at the end of the day because you didn't get what you wanted. So open yourself to new things. Open yourself to accepting that you can't have everything in control.
And even like those people that surrounds us, especially parents, you know, don't put expectation on your children. Because sometimes like they expect you after study, then it kind of like they always, I realize this, like parents, they ask you to go study, they invest in you. So after you finish study, I expect this from you. I want you to do this. So I felt like it kind of like giving a burden to your children.
Because your children feel like they need to reach their expectation, but not your expectations. Because we know your capability, but the parents doesn't.
They're just hoping that you can reward them back. Like I need my investment return. You know. So just don't do that. Maybe like listen more to your children. Like what do they want in their life? What do they need? Of course, like there's something. Of course, like the things that your children are sharing to you is not like it's not really logical sometimes, but you have to be there like to support and just to give your advice, not to stop them. You know.
Agree. Any other last advice?
What Kat said just now, like just just trust the Lord. It reminds me of a Bible verse from Jeremiah 29 verse 11. It says that for the plans I have for you is not to forsake you, but to give you hope and future. So always trust God. And my advice is, maybe it sounds cliche, but it's okay to not be okay. Embrace your flaws, embrace your failures, embrace your imperfections, because life is not always rainbows and sunshine and happiness. There are times there's gonna be rain and thunderstorms and tornadoes or wherever, but that's life, you know. That we have our ups and downs, and just embrace your flaws, but don't dwell in it. Just when you dwell in it, and you're just gonna go in too deep. So just make do of whatever your strength and your weaknesses. Just try to bring out the best in it. Just don't be hard on yourself. Because at the end of the day, maybe the things that you worry right now might not matter in the next 10 or 5 years in future. So why would you worry too much right now about things that probably not gonna happen in future? For example, people with anxiety, they worry so much about life, and then when they reach that phase, they were like, oh, this thing doesn't really matter much. Why do I worry so much about it 5 years ago? You know, stuff like this. Just go with the flow.
That's so good. Thank you so much.
Alright, sure. Thank you for having me today, guys. I'm very excited and pumped to advocate about mental health. It's been my passion, and I'm glad that this is my first time and I'm able to share with you guys.
I mean, like we need to like break down more like into like very details of this, you know, so that people know like, oh, this is something that we don't know and we want to know about it. For example, like my experience, right? I don't even know about this kind of things. Something like that.
I'm glad that I gave you a call.
I think it's a calling.
It's a calling from God. But yeah, okay guys, so that was so fruitful, that was so helpful for us. I hope it really helps you guys out there. And yeah, if you guys do have any comments or you guys have any questions, do drop a comment down below in our YouTube channel. And if you do feel like you want to talk to us, you can talk to our Instagram. We might even give your Instagram if you want to. And just ask us a few questions and don't be shy. You know, you're not dealing this alone. Those who ever go through anxiety, you're not dealing this alone. You have people around you that actually loves you and care about you, right? So yeah, that's all guys, and that's a wrap for today.